everyone, welcome to Math Talk. I'm your host, Brian Heisler, and today we're going to take a look at how to solve systems of equations using the substitution method. So let's get started. The substitution method is it's a process of replacing a variable in one of your equations with some equivalent quantity or expression involving the other variable. So basically what it means is you're substituting a value to help simplify one of the equations so that it can be written using only one variable. Because you can only solve equations when there's only one variable. So let's take a look at a couple of examples on what that means and how to solve the equations. We have an example that asks you to solve the system of equations below. And I see we have y equals x plus 1 and 2x plus y equals 4. So I know I'm going to use substitution right away because I have one of my equations that says y equals some other quantity. And whenever I see a variable equals some quantity, I know that I can take that quantity and replace it with or substitute it in for the variable in the other equation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this quantity of x plus 1 and I'm actually going to go ahead and substitute it in for y because it equals y, so I can replace it. And when I do that, what happens is I now have a new equation of 2x plus the quantity x plus 1 equals 4. And that's great because now I have an equation with only one variable, x. So I can simplify that and solve for x. I have 2x plus 1x, which is 3x plus 1 equals 4. So it was a couple of simple algebra steps. Subtract 1 from both sides to get 3x equals 3. And then divide both sides by 3 to get x equals 1. So one of my solutions is x equals 1. Now I need to figure out what y equals. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and take the value x equals 1, and I'm going to go ahead and plug it in back to one of my equations. It doesn't matter which one I plug it back into. I'm going to use the first one because it's a simpler equation. When I do that, I get y equals x plus 1. I'm replacing x with 1. So I get y equals 1 plus 1, which is 2. So now I have my second solution, y equals 2. So the total overall solution of this is the 0.12, or x equals 1 and y equals 2. You're going to see it written a couple of different ways. Remember, coordinate points are always of the coordinate x comma y, so that's why you see it as 1 comma 2. Let's look at another example. Again, it asks me to solve the system of equations below. It says y minus 2x equals negative 1 and 3y plus 2x equals 21. So I don't have any equation that says y equals this or x equals that, but I know that in my first equation, if I do one quick step, I can manipulate that to say y equals some quantity. And I could do that by just adding 2x to both sides. And when I do that, I get y equals 2x minus 1. So now I can take that quantity of 2x minus 1 and I can go ahead and substitute it in for y in my other equation because it equals y. So I can just substitute it in. When I do that, now I get the equation of 3 times the quantity 2x minus 1 plus 2x equals 21. Again, now I have an equation with just one variable x. I can simplify it down and solve. And when I simplify, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and distribute this 3 into both parts of my equation, and then I can go from there. So distributing the 3, I get 6x minus 3 plus that 2x equals 21. Now I have two different terms with x on one side of my equation. I need to combine those using the proper operations. So it basically says 6x plus 2x, which is going to get me 8x. I still have that minus 3, and all that equals 21. So a couple of algebra steps here to solve. I'm going to add 3 to both sides. I get 8x equals 24, and then divide each side by 8 to get x equals 3, which is half of my solution. So I'm going to go ahead and clear out some of this information so I can make some more room to solve for y now. Okay. I'm going to take my value of x equals 3. I'm going to plug it back into one of my equations that I started out with. It doesn't really matter which equation you use to plug it back into, as long as you just plug it in the right variable. So x is 3, so that means I'm going to take, instead of y equals 2 times x, I'm going to take y equals 2 times 3 minus 1, which is basically saying y equals 6 minus 1, which is y equals 5. So now I have both of my solutions. Y is 5, x is 3, so I can write it as the point 3 comma 5, or x equals 3 and y equals 5. So I hope this helps as you get to problems that ask you to solve systems of equations. Remember, if one of your equations says y equals some quantity or x equals some quantity, I would recommend using substitution. You could take that quantity and substitute it in for the variable in the other equation. Be on the lookout for my next video when I look at how to solve systems of equations using the elimination method. I hope everyone is staying safe out there, and as always, thanks for watching.